What's up, Schmac Talk? Welcome back to another episode. As promised, we got March Madness. It's that time of year.
Yes, we
Tournament
do.
starts tomorrow, Thursday.
Well, the
Tip
playing
off.
games have already started at the time of this recording. However, tip-off is still, tomorrow in the
Yeah,
future.
12
So by the time you
o'clock.
guys see this, it probably already started. You're probably watching the first weekend of Madness, and that's okay. I mean, you can always go back and you get to see how wrong we were. As
Oh
we
boy.
we I don't think either one of us are confident in a perfect bracket, if you will.
I mean, I think, you kind of heard my bracket a little bit, like
Yeah.
pre-recording, and I got a wide variety going on here. I don't know if it's gonna be. I really hope there's a lot of upsets this year. Let's just say that. That's all I got. Um,
I mean, the thing is though, like I'll fully admit, we're just doing this for fun, okay? I don't think either one of us has really watched a bunch of basketball this year. It's just how, it is what it is. But we do this for fun. We like to see, can we guess the right upsets? Can we at least get like what three of those right? Just to
yeah,
see. Um, but
or
from what I've seen
15.
this
I
year,
mean,
yeah. But what I've seen this year, though, is that I feel like it's very similar to what we talked about with football. This is an even playing field.
oh
So
yeah,
when I sat down last couple of nights and like looked at this bracket, I was like, I really don't know. Like, there's some teams that I've watched a lot of their games. There's some teams that I had no idea that they were in the tournament because I didn't watch the selection show. But
hmm,
this is a year, especially after we saw like the last 2 years, the upsets happen. Nobody has any idea when they're going to happen anymore. And so we could just see another upset heavy year. And you know what? If that happens, great. Like, let's do it. Let's even the playing field where we really have no idea who is supposed to win
upsets,
anymore.
baby. I need them.
Yeah,
I
like,
need them.
but
But like you were saying, honestly, this year I ran into a lot of the same dilemmas of just looking at it and going, wait, this team made it into oh, okay. Like there were a lot of
yeah,
teams in here. I was like, Iona, what? Like Colgate, like some of them, like I'm not familiar with like at all.
I think you're naming the women's
Oh
bracket right
no,
now.
no, it's men's.
Colgate is in men's. Am I
Colgate, they play
blind?
Texas. They're a
Oh, they
15 seed.
do. I
Yeah.
completely forgot. Well, I guess you guys know who I'm picking in that game.
Same though.
Hey,
Go tech.
oopsies.
Go Longhorns. Only time you'll probably ever hear me say that. But
No, I won't
yeah.
say it.
Oh,
I'll never say it.
you'll say it.
No, I won't say it.
Huck 'em horns, baby.
Horns down. Horns down.
Let's go.
This is the only horns I'll do. The horn
Who's this?
frogs.
Rar? Rar?
Okay, TC,
Rar.
you go after him. Cancel him.
What?
Canceled. No, I mean, I think this year it'll be interesting. There are like, when we break down our picks, and by breaking down, we're not going to sit here and be like, oh, well, they score this many. No, we're just going to give an insight why we thought that. It'll be quick, and you guys get to see what our brackets look like. But, you know, there are a lot of games here that like I might have picked one team and I can easily see the other team winning. Like this
Yeah.
truly, like I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see what happens. The madness does kick off tomorrow as of this recording. So, we're both going to be at work with the little screen on the side popping up to see
I think
what's
everyone
going
will
on.
be if they're into
Oh,
basketball.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Let's go. So we are going to do men's and women's though. So you're going to see our
Yes.
breakdown of the
Yes.
women's as well. And partially, is I find the women's basketball tournament entertaining as well. I like
Hmm.
watching those games. They're good games. And also the Ohio State University Buckeyes made it into that one. So we got to show our
Yes.
Buckeyes some love, you know?
I don't know how far
So,
they make it. I don't have them
oh,
winning,
we'll
but
see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
best
We'll
of
see.
luck. Best of luck.
So you want to start with your men, see what
Oh
you got?
yeah.
Let's
All
do it.
right. So, for my tournament bracket, as you can see,
Well, I guess it's roll tide roll.
Alabama,
Holy crap.
Alabama, Alabama. um,
Say it one
so
more time and I'll believe you.
Alabama.
Oh, okay.
um, so I decided Alabama, over Texas A&M, CC, Corpus
Community
Christi.
college.
No, I think it's Corpus Christi. I think.
Is it really? I just
Yeah,
see CC and I go community college.
it might be
No,
honestly.
it can't be. It's got to be a 4 year.
Okay,
You're right.
so
Because
it's probably
this,
Corpus Christi. I think that's the only thing I can think of. But
let's look it
anyway,
up while you go on. I'll let you know what it is.
but so this next game I was definitely 50-50 split. I feel like either team could definitely come out on top, and I went with West Virginia over Maryland just purely because I like West
Taking
Virginia a little more than Maryland.
home country
Sorry, Maryland.
road
Yep, John
to the
Denver.
play.
Um, it just hits a little different. But I mean they're gonna lose next round to Alabama. So
Bama.
um going down the bracket, we got San Diego State versus
The
Charleston.
Aztecs of the College of Charleston Cougars.
Yeah, so I went with um San Diego State just purely based on the hey, I've seen this team before. Yeah,
Hey, I know them.
yeah, I know that they're the pick today. Um, and then I went Virginia, North Carolina State, Baylor, Missouri, Arizona, just kind of picking the top dogs there. Um, and then moving a little forward, Virginia is going to move on to go on and play Alabama in the Sweet 16.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
Okay.
the tide will keep on rolling and to the Elite Eight, where they will run into the one and only Missouri Tigers
Oh my
after
God.
Missouri upsets number three
Baylor
Baylor. Um,
after Missouri upsets Arizona and then upsets
yes,
Baylor. Okay. Okay.
yes. Um, Now if one were to ask me, hey, what made you pick Missouri? I'd have to tell you, I have no idea. It just felt right.
I do not
like
know.
I yeah. Yeah, Missouri.
Hey,
Let's
that's
go
fair. That's fair.
Tigers.
If
Um
wrong Tigers, it's the
Roll
wrong
Tigers.
Tigers. Oh my God. I mean, that's fair. I mean, you don't really, you always got to pick one team to go on a run, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So why not? I haven't watched enough Missouri to argue you.
Yeah.
Like I
I
really don't
haven't
know.
I haven't either. So
You just say, hey, why not?
hey,
Like,
I'm feeling something in the
something
earth
in the
right now,
water. Oh
um
man,
and then I'm just gonna hop over to the Midwest here.
go
Had to
for it.
go Houston over Northern Kentucky. Haven't really watched Houston play a whole lot. But I
They're
feel
good.
like they're a pretty good team. Um, and then I got Auburn, Miami. Had to go with Kent State over Indiana just for the fact of alum. So had to. Then we got Pittsburgh over Iowa State. This was one that I just kind of went on a limb and was like, I feel like
So why
Pittsburgh
not?
won in, and then there's always that one team that wins in and kind of makes a run. And I think they could definitely pick it up on Iowa State and kind of pull a quick one. Unfortunately, they won't go too far, as they're gonna play Xavier in that next game, and I don't think that one's gonna be a pretty one. Um, I got Texas A&M coming out and over top of Texas. So a little 7-2 upset. I don't know what it is. A lot of 7-2 upsets in my bracket. Just kind of roll with it.
You
All
just
right.
like that matchup, don't you?
Yeah, I don't know what it is about the 7-2. I just think it makes a little sense to, get a little charade in there. Granted, I don't think all of these 7-2s will play out. I completely think that Texas is more than capable of completely
Beating A&M.
cleaning the floor with Texas A&M or Xavier, or Auburn, or really anyone in the tournament. Um, and there are a lot of teams that I could say that same argument for. It's March Madness. That's it caused madness in my brain. You know, making this bracket. Yeah, you can't look at that top part.
We already saw it. We already saw it.
But yeah, pretend you didn't see that, and let's move out to the East. We got Purdue, coming in hot, winning the Big Ten. I think Purdue is going to make a big run.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately,
But you got those damn cats.
I do got them cats. I got them cats.
Why?
you know,
Why not?
yeah, it's kind of more of a why not than anything. I don't know. I feel like there's
Okay.
always a Kentucky or a Kansas making a big push.
It's always Kentucky,
And
Kansas, and Michigan State. Those are the
yes,
three you always gotta watch.
yes. And it's Kentucky's year. I'm sorry. It's gonna happen. Or at least I'm telling myself
It,
that just
I
to
was
make our
gonna
bracket
say,
look good.
what world, dude? They haven't been
Hey,
ranked for like the last 2 months.
hey, ain't nothing wrong with not being ranked.
All
There's a
right.
lot of answers college basketball. You go on a little cold streak, you get unranked, but you come and show up for the tournament, and you know you make it
All
happen,
right.
make it
I
work.
mean, we'll see how right you are.
I'm trying to score some brownie points. Go Cats.
Oh
Um,
man.
and then Kansas State, Michigan State, Marquette, Michigan State gonna pull out. Marquette, solid team.
They're
Um,
good this year. They're real
There,
good.
I had problems honestly picking Kentucky over Marquette. I will 100% say that. Um, but yeah, at the end of the day, we got Purdue I almost said squaring up with the Cats of
Yeah.
Kentucky.
The
With
cast of
with the Cats coming out on
Kentucky.
top. Over in the West, we got Kansas playing Howard. I almost said Harvard. Um yeah, Kansas all day.
Howard.
And then Illinois, St.
What is
Mary's.
it? Rock Chalk Jayhawk?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. I know it's Jayhawk. Yeah. Oh.
Something. Of course you. Sorry, I'm just looking at that. Of course you went with Boise State
Oh. So I picked Boise State because of a
because
pool
you
at
love
work.
Boise State. You love
No,
Boise
I
State.
mean
You love Boise State.
a little bit. A little bit. It seems
You
like
know
a
they
cool
don't have a
place.
blue court, right?
Yeah, I know. That kind of yeah.
Could you imagine if all their athletics were blue? Like if they had a hockey
Bro.
that's blue ice, you'd have to get like a
That would be
neon orange puck.
you'd have to get like a neon orange puck, and you'd also have to change all the blue lines to like a different, like an orange or something, and then
That'd be
probably have to
crazy.
change the red lines
Mhm.
to something, and just
Yeah,
so there would be distinction.
that'd be
But
so weird.
that would look sweet though. Oh,
Yeah, until they actually come out with blue uniforms and you have no idea where they
yeah.
are.
And you're like, wait, where did he come from?
Oh man. But okay, so you got Boise over Northwestern. I feel like that could happen.
I feel like that's pretty plausible. Granted, Northwestern will probably win it. Just kidding. They're not going to. Boise's going to come out on top. But this year, I don't know what it is, but UCLA is, I think, going to make a run.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
they're they just I don't. That's one team I've actually watched, and I just feel like they're playing pretty well. And I think going into the tournament, they're gonna kind of kill it. Especially with the bracket that they're in. I mean, it's a pretty it's a pretty packed house as far as talent. But I think they got what it takes. I'm gonna take them all the way out, take them to the top. You're gonna go to the final four there, and then finally end up in the championship there. Um, so yeah, you guys already saw this. Alabama, UCLA squaring off in the championship game, and let's go Bruins.
I don't hate
Eighty-seven,
your Final
82.
Four. Okay, okay,
I
close
mean,
game.
I feel like
I really,
it's a little weird. I feel like
it's
a lot of the brackets I've seen or people I've talked to, their brackets are like, oh, I got a 1 through 4. Like in my, one person had a 4, everyone else was pretty much ones and twos. And I was like, oh, what did I do?
I
What?
mean, but again, we have prefaced this with this is the year that anything can happen.
Yeah.
You know, this is the
We
year that
saw it in
anything can
college
happen.
football. I think it's going to
Yeah.
roll right into
Okay.
college basketball, and college lacrosse is already kind of a little haywire, but like that's another episode.
Yeah.
That's another episode.
uh I don't mind it. I don't mind the UCLA. I think it's a good pick. I think majority of people are going with Purdue, Alabama, UCLA, and Kansas. I think Houston's being picked a lot too, but again,
Yeah,
Houston, I'll reiterate this once you see my bracket, but Houston's in the American, and I hate to say it, but that plays an effect, dude. You
yeah,
know, like you can be good, you got momentum, but once you go up against those big boys from the SEC and the big boys from the ACC and the big boys from the Big Ten, it's different.
yeah. I
It's just
That's one
different.
thing that I really took into account, especially because they're gonna win their first game. I think Northern Kentucky kind of coming from a
Yeah.
similar kind of conference, so it's definitely I
They're,
think
they're gonna
Houston, and
smoke
then
them. They're gonna
yeah,
smoke the Norse. It's
and they're
fine.
gonna they're gonna probably be hot and think they're the shit. But then you got to come play either a big dog in
You're,
Iowa or a big dog in Auburn,
I
and
know. And
both of
then
them
right after,
play competitive competitive basketball.
yeah, I mean, I think Houston is the one seed that I, c- I could see it an all one seed um going to the Final Four just
Yeah.
because, these four teams have been the most consistent.
Hmm.
But if you had to tell me which one is the weakest one, it's Houston.
Houston.
Houston's the
Oh, for
weakest one.
sure. Yeah.
And you know what? They can get upset about it, and that's okay. But what I so here's what I have put together.
Okay.
All right. Alabama. Yep, I got Alabama over Texas A&M, and you were right, by the way, for the CC. I looked it up. You were
Yeah.
right.
It is Corpus Christi.
Yeah. Now
Nice.
I have gone back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with Maryland and West Virginia. I'm pulling for Maryland, so I picked Maryland. Now I picked Charleston because it is the College of Charleston. Okay, it's not Charleston, West Virginia, it's Charleston, South Carolina. So
Hmm.
because that is my home now, I am picking them to do the upset over San Diego State. All right.
Let's see it happen. Let's see
All
it
right. I mean,
happen.
why not? And then,
I'm all for it.
uh,
Let's go.
yeah, Virginia. I mean, Virginia is my old reliable.
Hmm.
Creighton, NC State. I've gone back and forth with this. I like Creighton. I like what NC State has had to go through to get there. So I think NC State's going to be a tough out. Baylor, I feel like is a no-brainer here. Could they lose?
Hmm.
Absolutely. Anybody can
Oh
lose on
yeah.
like any given day. I do like Utah State over Missouri just because I love tens over sevens. That's just my personal
Really,
thing. I love doing
really.
that because I find that that is one of the most common upsets is 10 over 7.
Not the
Utah
seven
State
over
is a
two.
scrappy team. I'm not a 7 over 2. I don't really fall into that. Arizona, I think, will wipe the floor with Princeton. I love Princeton. I wish them nothing but the best, but Arizona is good. No question about that. I got Maryland over, or not Maryland over, Alabama. I think the tide rolls on. Virginia takes care of business against Charleston. Baylor, I think, one ups NC State. I could see this being a close game though. And then Arizona taking care of business against Utah State. I think Arizona's going to roll. As you
Yeah,
can see, I have them going to the Final Four. Okay. And here is my big thing Alabama. I don't think Alabama, and this goes for a lot of teams, nobody unless you're an ACC team, you don't play a defense like Virginia. Like Virginia
Oh yeah,
forces you to be efficient. And I feel like Alabama, if you get in a track meet with Alabama, they're gonna win. That's how
yeah.
Alabama's built. But I really think that Virginia is going to force Alabama to play their game, and I don't know how that's going to go. And that's why I'm putting Virginia over Alabama. I think if Virginia dictates the speed of the game, I think Virginia takes a dub. Now, here's the thing. I think
Mm,
Arizona's too explosive, and I think
yeah.
Arizona's too athletic. And if you just held on to beating Alabama, I don't see you doing it again to another explosive team because that's going to be the the Alabama Virginia, that Sweet 16, that's going to be an emotional victory, and I don't think you can
Mhm.
back it up 2 days later
Yeah.
against a very similar team. So that's why I
Yeah.
have Arizona. I like what Arizona brings to the table. So moving to the Midwest, Houston, no contest with the Norse. I love NKU. You know, I'm rooting for NKU. I love that area, but I think Houston's got them. Now I like Iowa. Again, this might be the Big Ten bias coming out of me. Okay, I'm pulling for the Hawkeyes. I do have Miami over Drake, and then I I wanted to go with your Golden Flashes. I wanted to, but I gotta go with
Indiana might
Indiana.
they'll probably
Indiana's the better
Indiana.
team. All right,
Yeah.
Indiana's the better team, so that's why I'm going with them. I would love to see Kent State shock the world, though.
Oh,
You
that'd
know, can't read,
be
can't write. Kent State, let's go. Like,
let's go, baby. Let's
I'd love to
go.
see it. Oh no, you saw mine, but
Got you.
I got Iowa State. I got the Cyclones. I think Pitt. That was an emotional victory. I think they're going to be down a little bit, so I got Iowa State. Xavier, I really like them over Kennesaw. And then I have Penn State over A&M. I feel like A&M's just been too inconsistent this year.
Hmm.
Penn State obviously has been inconsistent as well, but they shoot the three ball pretty well. And with teams like that, if they get hot, you're screwed. And I think Penn State's going to come out. They're scrappy. They fight to the end. I really like what they're given. I think they're going to beat A&M. Texas over Colgate, no contest. But I do think Penn State's luck runs out. Texas Longhorns, I hate to say it, but they're going to get the job done.
Hook 'em, baby.
Xavier,
Hook 'em, baby.
Xavier's gonna hold off on Iowa State. I think Miami's gonna not handle, but they're gonna fend off Indiana. I think that's gonna be a good game to watch. I just think Miami is too lengthy and too athletic. I've seen Indiana this year, and I'm not uber impressed.
Really?
I think that's what it comes down to is
Okay. I
like,
don't mean to interrupt the rant real quick, but I got a question that's kind of been burning in my mind. Do you think the Big Ten is good in basketball this year?
and this year, no, I don't.
Okay. So
I
I
don't think I think they were overrated this year, and I think what
really,
happened was you saw how inconsistent teams were. Um, and so what happened is that's why you're seeing you have a 1 seed in Purdue, and then you have a four, and then you have a bunch of seven, eight, nine, and 10. I
but do
think
you
that's what
think that
happened.
it could be that the Big Ten is such a competitive conference where there's a lot of back and forth between teams where you're not going to have a bunch of one seeds popping up. You're going to have a couple in betweeners, but there's still scrappy teams that are still going to come out and still, I think, play as possible one seeds.
I completely agree with that. I think that is part of it. I
Okay.
mean, we've seen a very talented, young, inexperienced Ohio State team fight into the end for every single game.
Yeah.
I have pushed some of these teams to the brink.
Hmm.
But here's the issue: the last 2 years, how many Big Ten teams have gotten into the tournament?
Oh, I cannot tell you.
It's been a lot.
Yeah.
And how many of them have advanced after the first weekend?
Not too many.
That's the issue. Because now we're in the
Yeah.
narrative of, okay, you guys all play
Okay.
each other really well, but when it comes to the big stage, you guys fall under pressure for some reason.
Unless you're like Michigan State and you somehow are tournament ready almost all
Yeah,
the time.
and it's also, I mean, I'm looking at this. I hope that Indiana beats Miami. I really do. I just watching some of the Indiana games, I don't really think it's going to happen. I think Indiana's kind of getting a generous thing with being a 4 seed. Northwestern's a 7 seed. Northwestern was number 2 in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
So I think Indiana's being a little, they're getting a little generous here. But um, it's now, it's put up or shut up time. And when you look at some of these teams that are absent from the Big Ten, Michigan is in the NIT. Rutgers was in the NIT and already lost. And then Ohio State didn't make anything. So when you have some of your more consistent programs, I believe Wisconsin's in the NIT as well. So when you're
Hmm.
looking at, typically we're talking about Purdue, Michigan State, Ohio State, Michigan, and Wisconsin, right? Those are your 5 Big Ten teams that are normally always in it, and we expect to do something.
Yeah.
Well, 3 of them are out of it this year. So how strong is the Big Ten this year? I also think it comes down to this. Purdue has a big guy, and nobody else in the Big Ten has a true big guy this year.
Yeah. And
That's
they
just a
play big
reality.
guy ball, and
Yeah, and so and Miami's lengthy as heck. I really like Trace Jackson Davis for Indiana. I think he's a baller. I think he's going to go to the NBA and do well. Um, but I don't think he's enough to beat a very talented Miami team. All
yeah.
right. Now, the thing is, if you flip the question on the ACC, I don't think the ACC is as good this year as people think. I don't think Duke's as good as people think this year. I don't think North
Oh yeah.
Carolina obviously isn't as good as
Duke's
people
not.
think this year.
Yeah.
So the thing is that I could easily go like that. All right. And then regardless, I see Miami or Indiana beating Houston.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think what happens is Houston has to play big boy ball versus one of these teams and they lose.
It's not going to
Now,
go well.
yeah, you could argue Indiana, you could argue Miami. I'm fine with either one. All right. I just, I don't think the Big Ten is going to do as well as I hope or as we expect.
Okay.
So, either way, I think Miami or Indiana, they're going to beat Houston. I think Houston's going to outlast Iowa. But I do because Ohio, I'm taking Xavier. Also, from
Let's
what I've heard,
go.
Xavier's like stupid talented this year.
They're looking pretty good this year.
Like, so hopefully they can keep it up and make a run. And honestly, like, Iowa could take out Houston, Miami or Indiana could take out Houston, Auburn could take out Houston. Auburn shooting the three really well. So, like, you know, I feel like Xavier has the bracket to make the run as the 3 seed.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what I got coming out of there. Try to go really fast so you guys can see it, but I think Purdue. I know you had Purdue getting chopped down.
Hmm.
I got Purdue going. I got them going all the way. You can already see I got them being Texas Southern. I got Memphis over FAU, which with Purdue winning that matchup. I've gone back and forth, Duke, Oral Roberts. Part of me just wants Duke to lose to Oral Roberts, so Ohio State's not the last team that Oral Roberts beat in the NCAA tournament. I think Duke's going to outlast them though, but I do have Tennessee winning and beating Duke because I'm not high on Duke this year. I'm not.
Yeah.
I've
No.
watched their games. I'm not impressed. If they beat Tennessee, they're still going to lose to Purdue. That's no doubt in
Yeah.
my mind. Here's where we differ. I have Providence beating Kentucky.
Providence.
Okay.
Really?
I I respect the Friars a lot. I think they do well when it comes to tourney time. And I have watched enough Kentucky basketball this year to know that they are not up to par with what people expect. And so I'm not surprised if they lose first round. All right.
Really?
They're
Okay.
talented, but they have struggled mightily. So I think Providence, I think this is your 11/6 upset. I think that's your most likely to happen. So definitely watch that. Kansas State, I'm high on. Okay, I
Hmm.
think they're talented, they're aggressive. I like them a lot. Um, I don't have I don't have faith in Izzo's team this year. I know we've talked
Really?
about dude, it's just when you struggle against an Ohio State team that has sputtered
Hmm.
through the last 2 months of the season and you almost lose at their place and then you almost lose at home and then you do lose in the tournament in the conference tournament. I got to go with USC. USC is
Okay.
lengthy. I just I hope Izzo wins, but I don't have faith. Marquette, I like Marquette a lot. I think they're going to breeze past USC. Kansas State's going to take care of Providence, but again, I'm going with the Wildcats. Maybe it's just the year of Kansas State to shock people. Maybe that's what it is. I'm all for it, but
There's
again, I
always
do
that
have
one
Purdue.
team.
Yeah, I do have Purdue coming out of the East. In the West, I got Kansas over Howard, Illinois over Arkansas, VCU over St. Mary's. I like VCU a lot.
Ooh.
Okay, dude, watch out for
Okay.
VCU. Watch out for the Rams. UConn. I was high on UConn in the beginning. They sputtered, but I think they're going to be back on track. And I like the Horned Frogs too, so maybe this is the Horned Frogs years as well. I don't know, but TCU, Gonzaga, I don't like, but I picked them. And then I got Northwestern. I really like Northwestern. I like what they're doing. I like UCLA. I really want to pick Northwestern here, but I think UCLA's got them.
Yeah.
UCLA is just a better team. I do think that Gonzaga is going to sputter. I think TCU is going to shock them with their athleticism. UConn's going to take down VCU. Kansas over Illinois. But here's the thing: I've gone back and forth. Why not? Right? Why
Why not
not
have
UConn over
UConn
Kansas?
upset?
Yeah, like
Okay.
just
Okay.
why not? If you want to tell me Kansas beats them, all right. But I'm in the boat of UCLA. I got UCLA over TCU. UCLA is going to the Final Four, and I got in my championship game Purdue over UCLA. All right.
Ooh.
I think this is the year for them, man. I really think this is the year for the Boilermakers. It's just Zach Edey. I'm not saying he's good because you watch him and you're like, you're just big, but nobody can effectively guard him.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Does anybody else have a 7'5" guy on their team?
No. No.
So I think it's Purdue's I think it's their time. I think it's their year. And so I'll be interested to see.
Yeah, I think your bracket, like just thinking based on like what I see, how you explained a lot of it, is a lot of taking the other pick that I was 50-50 on or not putting that upset there. Like I'll like you're yeah. It it almost looks like the bracket I would make if I was to put actual logic into my picks.
Instead of just upset after upset.
Yeah. I mean, I as much as I am picking the upsets, I do think that the upsets this year, or at least how things are divvied up as far as like,
Hmm.
hey, here's your seat, you know. I don't think the seat really is as descriptive of the team
Okay.
as we thought it once was. Um, because I mean, look at we're moving in a direction where every team's getting good. You know, we have teams
Yeah.
like basketball is one of those sports where like you can be a good team and like make it to a tournament and play in front of millions of people and play the best of the best. You don't really
Yep.
get that in football. And I think this is where basketball gets more fun because upsets are like liable. You're playing so
Yeah.
many more games, and granted, tournament play isn't the same as, um, normal schedule play.
Hmm.
So you're not gonna be completely like battered down. You're gonna play like your normal, pretty much schedule through tournament essentially.
Yeah.
So like you're not getting a new schedule thrown at you for bowl season or whatever. It's hey,
Yeah.
we're pretty much doing the same thing we've done all year. Like
Hmm.
let's run it, you know. So
Yeah.
I
So
think
it'll be
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
I like it. I think
Um
this will be a good tournament. I think it'll just be a lot of good games in general.
yeah,
I think there will be upsets. I don't necessarily think it's gonna be the like 16 versus one, but I think you're just gonna see
yeah,
good games throughout. I mean, after the
yeah,
first round, we're gonna have some good games in the first round, but once you get the round of 32 and on, I really don't think there's gonna be any blowout. I think it's gonna be
yeah,
every game down to the last second,
yeah,
and that's what we want. So,
yeah.
um,
I don't
I
like
don't
the
see anybody.
saturated market of,
Yeah,
oh, hey, we're always going to see Duke here. We're always going to see this team here. And I think we're kind
yeah,
of getting
yeah,
away from like
we are.
dynasties in basketball,
And
which is like
also,
kind of weird to think about. It's kind of cool because you're seeing
it's
more
cool, but it's
every other
freaky.
team coming in. So like it kind of messes up how you pick everything.
Yeah, and
And
it's part of it is that
yeah,
we
it's
have
nice
this
though.
coaching, right?
Yeah.
The coaches are leaving. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the coaches that we're used to seeing at Duke and UNC and Syracuse, they're all retired now.
Yeah.
All right, because I believe Boeheim just mutually stepped away. I honestly, Boeheim, he's old. I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
I just I see him being done, and so it is a change in the guard, and so it's new coaching, and um, you know, I don't know how these long-term assistants who are now head coaches are going to do, but it's very interesting to see that we're not seeing Duke, North Carolina, and Syracuse
Yeah.
for the ACC, right? We're seeing Florida State made a push, I believe, last year. I don't think they're in it this year, but you're seeing NC State, right? You're seeing all these other ACC schools get in there and compete. So
Yeah.
um, I like it. I like it a lot. It'll be interesting. I think we're also seeing this a little bit with the women's side. Okay, we're getting
Hmm.
away from that UConn dynasty, and maybe we're
Hmm.
going into the South Carolina dynasty. So I don't know. They're defending national champs. Some of our viewers, you guys might not follow the women's tournament as much as the men's because we make a big deal about the men's tournament, right? Like that's the
Yeah.
one that generates all the money. But the women's tournament, I strongly encourage you to watch it. Sit down and watch a game. It is very much more skill based.
Yeah.
All right. It's who
Yeah.
can hit the open shot, who can create a shot. They're not going to be dunking. It's not high flying and action packed. It's much more skill based. It's much more tactical. They press a lot more. Okay. It's much more defensive, but I really enjoy it because it's still good basketball.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend before we dive into, who we got here. And I think we both admit that these ones are more of a crapshoot because we don't really
Hmm.
we only
Yeah.
pay attention a little bit.
Yeah. There's
But
not
definitely
enough
sit
time in the
down.
day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sit down and
It
watch one of
really
these games
is
though,
good basketball, and I think it doesn't get enough viewership for what you can learn from it, what it
for
can
what it's
teach
worth.
you.
It doesn't get enough.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
like with men's
And a
basketball, you get
lot
a
of
lot
women's sports are
more.
like that. A
Yeah.
lot of women's sports. Like seriously, sit down and watch a women's soccer program, right?
Hmm.
Like the ACC and the Pac-12 have some amazing soccer programs. Sit down and watch the lacrosse game. All
Hmm.
right. The Big Ten, the ACC have some amazing ones. Sit down and watch a softball game. Softball game, like if you pick up an SEC softball game, oh my God, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Right? Like we're just being honest,
They're
ACC,
disgustingly
like
good, and I don't
it's
understand how they're
it's
as good as they
ridiculous.
are.
It's ridiculous. And so, seriously, like give these women, some props. Sit down, watch a game or two. Okay, maybe wait until like the Sweet 16 if you want really good basketball. Okay, if you
Yeah.
really want that high intensity, wait till the Sweet 16. Watch the Sweet 16 and Elite Eight. But I think this bracket also has a lot of good game potential,
Hmm.
and we'll break that down here in a second. Do you want to show yours first?
Yeah. So for the women's tournament here, oh, let's get this share going.
Yeah, come on, dude, let's go. They're
what
slacking.
what's happening? Oh,
What's popping?
where's Pampin? So South Carolina, as y'all probably guessed,
The defending. Dang. Okay, you got Stanford. You weren't kidding.
I was not joshing. I was not joshing you.
The
Um,
Stanford Cardinal.
so my
I can back
thing
that. I can back that. I'll root for that.
is
Let's go.
the skill it would take to do a repeat year
Oh, it's tough.
would be tough.
But
And
UConn did it, right?
UConn, yeah, UConn did it, but I'm weary to give it to North or not to North Carolina, to South Carolina and think that they're gonna automatically, kind of take the torch, and be able
That's
to
fair.
repeat.
That's fair.
So I do have them going pretty far, but not all the way. Going down the list, and we got Marquette. Marquette, phenomenal basketball school. I feel like they could upset South Florida, even though I don't really think it would be an upset.
Yeah.
It's a pretty close game as it is. And then Oklahoma over Portland, UCLA.
Not
I
going
like
with Sac
I,
State.
Nah, I'm liking them
Uh,
Bruins. I'm liking them Bruins.
but the
Um,
UCLA being good. And
I
well,
know,
actually, no,
right?
we should root for them, right? We should root
Yeah,
for them because they're like an asterisk
yeah.
Big
They're
Ten
about to
team.
be Big Ten school. About to
So go
join the
Bruins,
team.
right?
So yeah, exactly.
Woo! I
So
love that blue though. Damn, I
yeah,
can jump
the
on that
color
blue.
scheme is too
Ooh,
good
it's just
to
so
like
good.
hate it.
It's
Like
so
honestly, if you
good.
hate it, I kind of question what you like. It's a little weird not to like the that color scheme, but
The
you do
powder
you.
blue.
I'm not here to judge. Um, yeah, back to the bracket. We got Creighton, Notre Dame, West Virginia, Maryland. Um, a lot of those were, hey, you're a higher number than they are. There you go. There's a team I picked. Maryland, I have going all the way out to face Notre Dame in the Sweet 16. And then we're going to see Maryland also run it with South Carolina. And South Carolina's going to take the cake, I think, if you ask me.
Unfortunately.
I think that they are a good team, and I think they will make it back to at least the Final Four.
Okay.
Hopefully, yeah, I yeah, 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 yeah.
There you go. Very convincing.
And then we're going over to the other side here. We got Indiana, Oklahoma State, Washington State, Villanova, Michigan. A little weird picking Michigan, not gonna lie.
I know it is.
LSU, North Carolina State, and Utah. Um, One thing I kind of noticed with women's basketball is there's not as many crazy upsets.
Yes, correct.
So my bracket's a little more tame. It's a little more, hey,
What
yeah,
you expect to happen.
yeah, kind
You
of
know,
going based
it
off
really
numbers.
is.
Um,
It really is. And nothing wrong with that. It's
yeah,
just that really is what it is.
and moving down to the Seattle battles now. We got
Ooh, okay, okay.
Stanford, Gonzaga, Louisville, Texas, Colorado, Duke, Florida State, Iowa. And, from this bracket here, you guys probably already saw I do have Stanford kind of pulling the rope, going
Running
for it
it.
all. Um,
The
you
Stanford
know,
Cardinal.
I do think Iowa or Duke will pose a big threat for them. But I think that Stanford will be able to come out on top and hopefully make my bracket dreams come true and actually be correct. Uh, one can hope. On the other side here, we got Virginia Tech, USC, Iowa State, Tennessee, North Carolina, the Ohio State Buckeyes, Baylor, and UConn. It was nice to see Ohio State make it in this year. I do think that they are a solid team. However, Ohio State is notorious for breaking my heart when it comes to brackets because,
It's too
as a
true.
as a kid, you always would pick your favorite
Aaron
team,
Craft.
if they're in
Aaron
there.
Craft.
Oh, the years with
Jared
Aaron Craft.
Sullinger, David Lighty, John
Oh
Diebler,
yeah.
Evan Turner. Need
You
I go
had
on
Ohio
with how
State
many?
going all the way, winning
Every
it
year,
all
dude.
every
Like, and
year.
it was legitimate. It was
Yeah,
legitimate
they had
contenders,
a legitimate
and
case
they
to
lost.
say,
And
hey,
they
yeah,
lost
we're
to
the best.
Dayton.
And then they lose to like some team in
They,
the freaking
they lost to Dayton in
32.
Aaron Craft's senior year. Then when we got Dwayne Washington Jr. and EJ Liddell, they lose to Oral Roberts. It's fine. It's
Yeah,
fine.
it's
I'm
fine.
not
It's fine.
rehashing
It's
everything.
fine. It's fine.
It's,
It's just
I'm
one of those
fine.
things that like it hurts, but I know based on history, I don't see
You
them.
can't trust them.
Yeah, I just can't put that trust out there. Been
It's
burned
not the
too many
program, it's the
times.
school, right? It's not the
Yeah,
program itself, it's the
yeah,
school in general.
yeah. So we
That's
got
fair.
Ohio State losing to UConn. And then up at the top right there, Virginia Tech, um, solely based on, hey, we're number one. I do
Yeah,
think Tennessee is
can give them a
always
game.
a
Yep.
sleeper.
Oh
So
yeah.
Tennessee and Virginia Tech was a game that I was tossing up, and I honestly think could go either way. And it's really not going to be one of those teams is going.
Hmm.
That it's plain and simple. It's I think Tennessee could go all the way, make it to the Final Four, but I can't have multiple teams in the Final Four, or I can't
You
have
can't
more than
you.
four teams in the
I was gonna
Final
say
Four.
you can't have more than
There we go.
four.
Um,
If I could, I
so
would. I
yeah, I it's so hard to pick teams, and yeah, adds so much stress because you start tossing between two teams, and then next thing you know, you're looking at your bracket and you're like,
It's like, when did I get
I'm
here?
just starting from the beginning again. We're redoing this, and then yeah, yeah. I don't know if anyone else
Yeah,
does that, but that is my process for making a bracket. Kind of build it out, tear it down, build it partial, tear it down again, and yeah, yeah,
just
it's
keep
fine.
going until you don't hate it as much.
Yeah. But then, like a week into it, you're like, why did I pick these teams? What was I
That's why I
thinking?
don't look at them after I submit them.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like. I'm like, okay, dude, I'm done.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not gonna look at these again because
I'm just gonna
it's
watch them for
trash.
games. Let's go.
But
Oh
so Final
man.
Four, I got Indiana, UConn facing off. I got UConn pulling out on top. Indiana is probably it. I think it could be Indiana's year. I was really between Indiana and Stanford for my winners this
Okay.
year.
Okay.
Um, it just came down to I don't know if Indiana will be able to hold their own playing against a UConn, or even if they do fend off UConn and make it to the final, are they going to be able to face off against Stanford? Stanford's such a quick and just like fundamentally sound teams that I have
Yeah,
watched. And honestly, I don't mean to go back to it, but what go watch Stanford's women's team play.
they're good.
Um,
Go
they
watch
are
North or South
phenomenal.
Carolina's team too.
Yeah, South Carolina, any of these teams, especially in the women's. I think if you're a younger player wanting to learn more about more technique and just basic fundamentals, check into a women's game. Men's you do get the fundamentals, but you get a little more flash. And
Yeah,
in order to get that flash, you gotta work it out. You gotta have the fundamentals down packed to be able to start doing what they're doing. Grant, like I'm not saying the women don't have flash; they do have flash, but they're not high flying. They're not slamming the ball, doing 360 dunks and all that. Some
yeah,
of them are dunking, but for the most part, they're setting up a play in which, hey, we're gonna bank a corner three. Like it's it's crazy to watch. It's a completely different play style. It's awesome. Check it out. Um, close out my end. Stanford 93-87. Gonna be great
okay.
games.
High
Um,
scoring.
oh yeah. I just kind of threw some numbers in there. Hopefully it's
Yeah, I mean,
you know
I
I feel like the championship game is either high scoring or it's like neck and neck looking 40s, 50s, like through the whole
okay.
game, you know?
All right, that's fair. Um, let's see what I got. So, our top left, Greenville won. I believe we have the exact same picks. All right, we looking at Greenville one. I believe we have the same ones. All right,
Yeah.
South Carolina, Marquette, yeah,
Mhm.
Oklahoma, UCLA.
I think I had Arizona over West Virginia, but
Okay, well,
uh,
if that's our only
yeah.
discrepancy, but I got West Virginia over Arizona.
Actually, no, I had West
So
Virginia. My
all
bad.
right, so we got the exact same.
Yep.
Um, So no surprises there. On the right, I went a little, let's get some upsets going. So I got Florida Gulf Coast, just
Okay.
because I like Florida Gulf Coast. That's all.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so I got them. I got Michigan making a little run, which feels so wrong to do or want, but I really just wanted that Big Ten to make a little bit of run. And then I got Princeton over NC State.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, I do have Villanova challenging Indiana, but I think Indiana's going to come out of there. I think we're going to see South Carolina, Indiana coming out of their respective regions. They are the true ones. They've looked really good all year. South Carolina's been on top, stayed on top. Indiana kind of had to get there, but they've gotten so much better throughout the season, that I am very, very high on them.
Yeah.
So, a little bit more haywire in Greenville too, but that's just because I was pulling for three upsets with one of them going a little deeper. Um, so
Not
nothing
bad though. I
really.
could definitely see Michigan upsetting or beating Utah
Michigan's
though.
good. I've watched a
Michigan,
couple of their
yeah,
games. They're good. They're sneaky. And LSU, from historically speaking, talking about their coach, they don't match up well with Big Ten teams.
yeah.
So I think LSU could be on upset alert there. Looking at Seattle for Stanford, I have Stanford making a big run, but I have Iowa getting out of here. All right.
Ooh,
So I believe
okay.
everything else that we had is the exact same except for
Yeah.
Georgia. I had Georgia over Florida State. Again, I told you I like tens over sevens. I don't know why. I always have, always will. But I've
Oh,
watched
I
enough
had Duke
Iowa.
over Colorado.
Oh
Other than
yes, I
that, though,
also have
everything's the
Colorado.
same.
All right. Um, but I have watched enough Iowa basketball to know they're legit.
Yeah.
All right, they
Okay.
are legit, and when they're shooting threes and they're making them, and Caitlin Clark is on fire, you're done. There's no like no coming back. Um, I saw them beat a very good Ohio State team in the Big Ten tournament championship, 100, if I remember correctly, 105 to like 72 or something like that. Like they destroyed them. Okay, so Iowa, I'm really
Maybe I
high
should
on.
have paid a little more attention to Iowa then.
I think Stanford's a good pick. It's just I've seen Iowa enough now to be like they're good, and I'm high on them.
Okay.
In Seattle three, I got Virginia Tech. You see, and nothing really. I don't even think I have any upsets in here. Until
And I
later
think
on.
we're the
I have
same.
1, 4, 3, 2 going on. It's just I'm picking the Buckeyes because I love my
Yeah.
Buckeyes. All right. I have faith in them if they get healthy, if they play what their potential is. I mean, they were number two in the season for a long time.
Hmm.
Then they went and they lost a couple games, um, lost that momentum, lost that confidence. Okay. And then they kind of rebounded. I think if they play to their potential, they are one of the best teams in the nation. That's why I have them making a run. Plus, because I love them. So I did go with a little Big Ten bias. All right, Iowa,
Ooh.
Indiana, Ohio
Some
State
Ohio
in the
State in
Final
there.
Four.
Okay.
All right.
Got some Big Ten in there.
Yeah, and so I do have Ohio State get into the national championship, but I just don't see anybody beating South Carolina.
Okay.
I think they're too good. I mean, they're undefeated for a reason. I think we have gotten past the Yukon dynasty and now we're in the South Carolina dynasty. I think that that's we have shifted.
Yeah.
Uh, so I mean that's what I have, and because I do truly believe that South Carolina is that much better than everybody else, that's why I have them winning by 11.
Okay.
I don't think it matters who they play; they're gonna beat them.
Honestly, though, watch UConn just say, "Oh, hey, you thought we left?
Hold my beer.
Sorry,
South
we,
Carolina's
we
time.
just
Hold my
sneezed
beer.
last year. My bad."
Yeah.
Like, we're like,
Yeah, no.
okay,
So I think it'll be a good one. I would love to see the potential matchups of, South Carolina, UCLA, South Carolina, Maryland, South Carolina, Notre Dame. Like I would love to see all those. I think Indiana, Nova, Indiana, LSU, Utah, Michigan. Any of those games are going to be good. Stanford versus Louisville, Texas, Duke, or Iowa going to be phenomenal.
yeah,
And then I really think Seattle three. You're going to have some good games. You're going to have some great games. I think this second round right here. Okay, that round is going to be amazing to watch. I think Virginia Tech USC, that's going to be a good game. Virginia Tech versus Iowa State or Tennessee, phenomenal. I think Ohio State, North Carolina, Ohio State, UConn, Ohio State, Virginia Tech, anything like that, UConn versus anybody, it's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
right? So if you want intense games, I think Seattle 3 is going to have your most intense games.
Yeah.
But I think this is going to be a good tournament. I'm excited to watch, and hopefully the Buckeyes prove me right and play to their potential
I know.
and make a little run for the
I
natty.
really
Let's
want to
go.
see him go for the
Let's
natty and just
go.
come out on top. I just was like, I've been burned by the men's team so many times building out a bracket that
I
I was just
know.
like,
It's not
I
even
should
the
have
men's
went
thing. It's
unbiased mine in there, but no, did I? No.
it's not even burned by the men's team. It is burned by the university that we love so much.
Yeah.
Because think about it. We're like, you know what? We're talking up the football team. They're gonna get it done, and then there's a
Mhm.
letdown.
Yeah.
So
Maybe we should just start bashing them and maybe they'll
no,
be
I
like,
cannot
oh
do
my
that. I
God,
can't do that.
like, we got to step
I'm
it
not.
up.
I'm not turning into one of those fans. Not that much. Not too quickly. But I think it'll be a fun tournament. I think both tournaments are going to be amazing to watch. I believe they're like overlapping dates a lot.
Mhm.
So it'll be fun. I'm excited. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
This is probably one year that I'm gonna probably try and watch most of the games, if not, or I can't watch all of them, but
Mhm.
I'm probably gonna have a screen on like my computer on the TV, just have a game always
Yeah.
playing, and probably
Yeah.
switching between multiple games because I'm pissed off because my bracket's fucked. So hey,
It's okay. That's okay.
I
That's
mean, what
okay.
isn't that what March Madness is for? It's like, hey,
Yeah.
if you can build out a perfect bracket, you can win all this money. And then you're like,
That is true.
I could do it. How hard could it be? And then like literally 3 hours into the tournament, you're like,
You're
what
like,
the?
we're done.
We're out.
All
We're
right.
out.
So last note before we get ready to watch some games tomorrow. Okay. Who's your dark horse
So my
for men's
so
and women's? Who's your dark horse, men's and
so for
women's?
women's, I'm gonna go Ohio State.
How you took mine.
I'm sorry. That like they were the when I was building out my bracket, I was honestly sitting there, kept going between. I was like, I should just put them through, but I was like, no, I can't. UConn. So, so I was
Huskies,
like, all
Huskies,
right,
Huskies, Huskies.
I can't do that. So now I'm like, all right, Ohio
Okay.
State, let's see it
Okay. Okay.
happen.
Okay.
On
Let's
the
do
men's
it.
side, I would have to. There's a couple teams I'm really on right now. Like I don't. These are going to be teams that I don't actually have in the Final Four.
Okay.
But I'd have to say Texas possibly could get it done if they
Okay.
play consistently. However, they have not been playing consistent toward the end of the season, and that makes me worried. And that's why I put A&M through, even though A&M's like iconic for
Well, you could use A and
chaos.
M, but you
Yeah,
could use A&M as your dark horse. That's not a
I
bad
mean,
pick.
yeah, I could use A&M, but I don't think they have an opportunity to completely win out just because of
Okay.
how
Okay.
inconsistent they are inconsistent. You know what I
So they're
mean?
consistently inconsistent.
Yeah, there we go. There
So
we
they
go.
are consistent.
No,
All
no, not at all.
right. Let's
Auburn.
okay.
Auburn, that's gonna
Well,
be
dark horse. Okay.
yeah.
If they shoot the three well, they're scary. They are scary
They
when they shoot the
I've
three well.
That's one team that I've actually paid more attention to this year.
Okay.
And I think that they have the opportunity to possibly win out. However, I don't think that they'll be able to keep up the intensity through every single game in the tournament. I think at some point they're going to slip
Yeah.
up. I'd love to be proven wrong, but you
You're
know,
like, prove me
it's March
wrong.
Madness. It's March Madness,
You
honestly.
never know. You never know. Um, Here's what I'll hit you with. Women's.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not classifying. I would pick Ohio State as my dark horse, but I'm not classifying them as dark horse because I have them going. Here's my dark horse. I'm going to go and do not let my mother see this, but Michigan, the Wolverines of Michigan. All right, they're the dark horse. All right, watch it. They can
Hello.
make a run. Okay, I didn't say I'm rooting for them. I'm saying watch out for them. Okay, I will never root for that God
Okay.
forbidding
Okay.
university. Okay, I'm just saying watch out for them. For men's, I got to go local. watch out for the CSC Cougars. You know, who knows? Why not
Okay.
us? Small school, small town mentality. You know,
Make a
they
little
got
run for the money.
if they got the confidence, let's go. Watch out for the Cougars. All
Okay.
right, let's
Okay.
go. Let's get this going.
Okay. I think that about wraps it up, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Tell us what you think. Leave your picks. What do you think of our picks? Are they think we picked well? Do you think we were
You think they're
completely
bad?
off the wall when we made our picks? I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
let
kind
us
of looking
know.
back at mine. Maybe I was a little off the wall for some of them, but hey, let us know in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe. Peace out, guys. Have a great week. Tune into some
Peace
March
out, Girl
Madness.
Scout.
Yay!
Oh my God.